I'm so tired of people saying that it's just a movie, it's just a comic book, it's just a TV show. No, it's not. Stories are the building blocks of our culture, of ourselves, even of our own psychology. We are a product of the stories we tell ourselves about our own past and the experiences on a daily basis, but also the stories that we choose to spend time with. What types of values, our feelings, or whatever are they promoting? What types that we like to spend our time around? They're going to shape us. They're going to shape our personality and character, and they're going to shape our perception of the world and the acts and behaviors that we put out into the world. And people don't understand that. They go, it's just a movie. It's just this. I can like and promote whatever I want. Well, of course you can, but you should pay attention to the responsibility that you have.
Consume stories responsibly.
As a member of society, as a human being, responsibility to yourself.
Consider the consequences.
You need some balance. You need some certain criteria that is going to make sure you're promoting the right kind of works, or at least have thought through the type of work that this or that story is going to do in our culture, and then make your own decision whether or not that's something you want to support.
Consume stories responsibly. Consider the consequences. Consume stories responsibly.
Hello everyone, I am Professor Geek. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome to a very impromptu makeup stream for last Friday. Wasn't able to work that in with all of the stuff I had going on, and as I've said, it's going to get a little easier. It's just these classes I take. And like an idiot, I thought, I can do 3 classes during the summer. That's not going to be that bad. And whew, man, they kicking my butt. But I've got like 2 more weeks or so. So we're making it through. But I had my dear sound engraver come visit me this last weekend as well. So I wanted to get all the schoolwork done before, I went to pick her up as well. So we're getting in there. But yes, it is a makeup stream. And I already see all of the dad jokes coming in about makeup. Didn't disappoint. I thought first I was going to call it the makeup class, keeping with the Professor Geek stream, theme. And I thought, well, no, makeup class. Then people are going to be like, are you going to teach me how to do makeup? I thought, no, my audience is above that. They're a little wittier than that. They're more clever than that. Well, there goes Chris Damon. I'm intrigued. There better be some e.l.f. products, decent brushes, and setting spray. But before Chris Damon, welcome to you, Chris Damon. My dear sound engraver was here first, saying hello to her handsome intellectual. And I saw some other makeup stuff going on there. But Edward, welcome, Edward. Great to see you there. Let's see. Zetopia, Sertorian Clegane, welcome. Joshua V. Zetopia. Got more people. Daniel Heron for $2 super chat right out of the gate. Thank you. Makeup. I was unaware we broke up. Melissa Harris and Jake, aka Melissa Harris and Sons 3.0. I'm gonna have to say the entire name every time I reference you. I hope you're okay with that. But you are streaming for your friend. Oh, tonight. Cool. Are you streaming on YouTube? That's kind of neat. Welcome to Sir Stone, AL, Dr. Yeisley. Haven't seen you around in a while, Dr. Yeisley. Great to see you there. So yeah, this is a makeup stream because kind of my MO right now is to talk about some topics, 1, 2, 3, whatever topics on these live streams. And then I tend to cut out, videos, standalone videos from those streams. So, because some people for one, it's very easy for me to get more mileage out of the same content, but you're just repackaging it. But I know that for myself and other YouTubers, you see like a stream and you see the time, even if it's from a YouTuber that you enjoy following, and it's like an hour and 20 minutes or even longer, and you're thinking, I'm so not going to sit there and listen to to that long of a stream right now, unless you're at a place you're doing something where you want a long stream. But I'm usually not. But even if they've got some cool topics listed in the title, but if I see that they've cut out just specifically those topics, I know they're going to get right to that topic. So yeah, so that works. Daniel Heron for another $2. I saw that face. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Sound Graver was asking, is it makeup or make-up? My understanding is that both are acceptable at this point. for the way we're using makeup is in making up a class or making up something. The font I used for that thumbnail, though, hyphens wouldn't show up in that font, but I wanted it to be that font for like the chalkboard kind of feel. So I just took the hyphen out rather than have a space make up, So anyway, all of that. So, yep, we are here to talk about things. I have maybe two topics, at least one thing I'm going to talk about a little bit. Other than that, it's kind of up to you guys. If you have questions, if you want to do sort of a Q&A, devolve into that, we can for a little bit. I'm not going to stream over an hour or so. But one thing I wanted to talk about was the Suicide Squad 2 that hit theaters over this past weekend. And a number of things about it, but even when they just released that they were doing Suicide Squad 2, I thought that is so indicative of Warner Brothers thinking. Their DCEU has gone down in flames. Now, they had some successes. They've had, the first Suicide Squad did actually make some pretty good box office because it was in the middle of the summer. There was enough buzz about it at least and stuff. It was a horrible film. If you ever saw it, you shouldn't. It's garbage. But people knew it was going to be garbage because the DCEU is down in flames. They can't get anything right. They've got it, the first Wonder Woman made some movie, but they couldn't sustain that. The second one never did. Got the acclaim. For Suicide Squad made some box office, but no one's really excited about another one. They are determined, though. Warner Brothers is 100% determined not to say, look, we learned our lesson. We have clearly been throwing stuff against the wall, not knowing anything that we're doing. We just don't know what we're doing at all. That's what they need to do. Warner Brothers needs to come out and say, guys, we're sorry. We have messed up on so many different levels, even in trying to correct the things that we knew we messed up on while not coming out. See, that's the problem. You might point to well, look, when they brought Joss Whedon in for the Justice League because they knew Zack Snyder was a problem. But look, when they did this, no, here's the problem. They never come out and say, guys, we screwed up. We're going to wipe the slate clean. We're going to bring in some people who know how to do these characters correctly, who actually have the power, and we're going to give them the power to do it without meddling. And we're going to go from there. Warner Brothers has never done that. They're incapable of doing that. They'll just sort of tacitly try to fix something without admitting that it was a problem ever. And that's what they're trying to do now. They've been trying to do this for a while. They're trying to have their cake and eat it too. We're going to give you the Batman, which isn't in continuity, but we're also still going to give you Suicide Squad 2, which is in continuity of the other DCEU movies. And they've just made a big mess. No one even knows what to think or what this movie fits into, or is this movie even going to be remotely concerned with getting the characters right, or what's happening on so many different levels. It's just a dumpster fire happening at Warner Brothers with all of their live action DC properties. So they announced they were going to do Suicide Squad 2. I thought, this is ridiculous. Suicide Squad 2, that was a horrible film. I mean, it was lampooned as a horrible film. The best review you could get out of the first Suicide Squad movie was, it's a good popcorn flick, The best you could get for a review of the Suicide Squad movie was like Big Al. And I don't even know if he's watched that, or he probably did. I don't know. But like a typical Big Al, comment is about the best you could get from the original Suicide Squad movie. That's it. So the idiots, rather than admit, hey, we failed here, even after Harley Quinn's ridiculous Birds of Prey film that was just bombing on so many different levels, even after that, nope. Don't wipe the slate clean. Don't start from scratch. Keep bullying ahead. We'll get James Gunn to come in, which is another problem. But I'll talk about that when we get to it. So the idea of doing a Suicide Squad 2, do another Suicide Squad film if you want as a reboot of the Suicide Squad franchise, not even a part of the DCEU. I don't think we need that. I think that's kind of stupid. Build DC on some heroes first, because DC of all properties should be built on heroes. Cool it with Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. You guys have just driven them into the ground so hard in so many different ways. Just cool it with them, guys. Go reapproach Green Lantern. It's been so long since you've messed that up. If you really want to learn from your mistakes and really want to get the people in to do it right, wipe the slate clean and do a Hal Jordan Green Lantern film the way it's supposed to be done. That would be a place to start. One place to start anyway. But they're not doing that. They got to throw everything against the wall just to possibly see what hits, what sticks. And so Suicide Squad 2 was part of that. Really ridiculous ridiculous move from the get-go. Let me take a break here for a super chat from Divine Comedy Productions, $10. Thank you very much. Says anyone can make something cool. First Order, Suicide Squad, but that's not the same as being cool. I've seen Masters of the Universe screenshots and powered up Skeletor looks cool, but not enough. Well, yeah, that's I'm glad you brought that up, looking cool, because people are it's shocking how naive people still are about a trailer. I don't know, man, that trailer looked pretty cool. We are so far beyond the point of trailers even remotely reflecting the content of a film. We are so beyond that point. Suicide Squad in particular, that first movie, that trailer is a perfect example of how the studios will go in and hire other people completely, Trailer House, I think they were, or whatever, other people completely to cut a trailer of your film. They're not concerned with actually reflecting what the story's about. They shouldn't give you all the points or anything, but they're not really concerned with that. All they're concerned with is creating a buzz. That they're not concerned with story. They're concerned with creating a buzz. So they'll show you whatever crucial parts they shouldn't show you from the film that they want, or misrepresent anything. They'll do whatever they want to. And yes, like you mentioned there, Masters of the Universe Revelations. I mean, idiots everywhere was like, because I had just done a video talking about the character designs and saying, "Oh, guys, this is going to be a horrible, horrible pretend take on He-Man," and then the trailer dropped, that first trailer, and people everywhere thought they were just schooling me, boy. They were going to troll me like, "Ha ha, you're such an idiot. I guess you didn't think you were going to drop that video right before a cool trailer like that dropped." Okay. Of the two of us, I realized that's clearly from the first episode tops, maybe even the first half of the first episode. I mean, it was just so blatantly obvious considering the synopsis and everything, but people are just willfully naive. They're willfully ignorant when it comes to these things. They want to be excited. They want to be excited about this new content. And if you show them the content and it's a dumpster fire full of dog poo, they will try to pretend it's not that bad. They will try to pretend, well, there's still this. Well, it's kind of okay, because people don't want good stories. They don't want good. I'm just talking about the specific, which is actually quite a bit of cinema goers, with a specific brand of people. They don't care. They're not critical thinkers. They're consumers, and they're not even critical consumer. They just open that mouth and pour it all in. They don't think about the content. They don't think about the content's effect on themselves or society. They just want that moment of entertainment. They're lotus eaters. They're lotus eaters in the theater. That's what they are. They don't think. So that trailer looks interesting. I got to go see that, and the companies know that they do that. So they put out these trailers, which are completely, red herrings, just, total misdirections for whatever the film might be. Because again, once you bought your ticket, they don't care. They don't care if you buy your ticket and don't see the movie. They don't care if you buy your ticket and see the movie and huff and puff on YouTube and Twitter about how you didn't like it. You don't matter. You bought the ticket. You're part of it. You supported it. That's it. So thinking of this idea that if you see it, you're part of the problem, as it's a mantra on my channel. I've been talking about this forever. It's kind of known right now. I mean, if you're a remotely intelligent being, and if you know anything about these superheroes and the way they're supposed to be represented, it's just pretty much a fact now that the DCEU has horribly misrepresented these characters. You'll talk to some people sometimes. Very few are 100% Snyder Bro DC defenders across the board. No, those movies were excellent. There was nothing ever wrong with Man of Steel or Batman v Superman. You still have that crowd, but they're minimalist now. They not many people. Most people have seen the light when it comes to that. Then you'll have people who are still trying to say, but if they let Snyder do what he wanted to or whatever, it would have been. No, the fact is that everybody really realizes now that these DCEU movies are really just troubled from the start. At the very least, troubled. Truly just garbage, from every angle. So that's what their universe is. That's known. Whatever level of that or whatever angle of that you come to that from, there's some level or some angle, your opinion, you've got to realize, most people do anyway, that the DCEU is just a really troubled universe that needs to be wiped clean. Why are you so flippin' afraid of wiping it clean, admitting we got this wrong, let's do it again from scratch? I mean, nobody's doing that now. it would be novel for you to do that. There was a time where reboots were happening all the time. Well, let's reboot it. Let's reboot it. Oh, that next movie didn't work. Well, let's reboot it. There was a time where that was getting a little old. Not that I'm saying necessarily that wasn't the answer, but that's not getting old now. No one's rebooting anything, unless it's been something from years and years ago and they're trying to bring it back, refreshing it or something. But that's what they should do. No, instead they're going to put out another movie, and Warner Brothers is going to bank on the fact if they wait long enough in between films, and they bring different people into work on it, you will be curious enough to go see it. If they put out a trailer that it puts out all the right bait, you will be curious enough to go and pay them and support that movie. Regardless of what you think of that movie, you will support it. You will have supported it if you buy your ticket, especially on opening weekend, or stream it. I don't know if the Suicide Squad 2 was available for streaming or anything like that as well. I haven't even bothered looking into it, but they know that that's their tactic. We don't have to fix anything. We don't have to admit we were wrong. We don't have to wipe the slate clean. We'll just take this platter that we have of our universe that's already cracked and flecked with dirt and feces and all this garbage from the other movies, and we'll just kind of, push that aside. And here we go. Now we're going to build the next installment on it. No, throw that plate away. It's damaged. It's a horrible foundation to build on. No one should be consuming on a plate filled with that nonsense. They don't do that. We're going to just bring in somebody new, and we'll do a movie that way. There you go. That's what they do. And I'm seeing people all around me, otherwise intelligent people, I'll give that a try. It's somehow like they think because it's been a little while, it's okay to go support this stuff or just give it a try again. No, it's not. It's not even remotely okay. Why do you think that? And really what they think, they're not thinking at all. They're just bored. They're bored. It's been too long since they got to go pay for some new fandom content. So they just want to go try it out. No, you're not trying. Get this through your thick skulls, people. You're not giving it a chance. You're not trying it out. You are writing a check that says, yes, make more of that as soon as you go into the movie theater. It doesn't matter what you think of it. Does not matter what you think of the movie. You are writing them a check saying, make more of that because I'm there. I'll be there to check out the next part too. I'll be there to check out the next one too after that. And I'll be there to check out whatever you do after that. No matter how much you hated the things before. This is people's mentality. The studio knows this is your mentality. So they've got you. And we talked about this as kind of a whole other topic, but we talked about it before, how the YouTube phenomena with all of these different channels going to see these movies. We see it so you don't have to, guys. Stop it. You want to go see it so that you can do a review and that you can get some ratings so that you can cash in on this garbage dumpster fire as well. Even though you're saying bad things about it, you're still promoting it. You're still part of it. That's what the problem is. It's this whole big, circle that's just killing it. My dear Sound Engraver for $2 says, I think fans need a cleanse. They really do. They need to step away from Hollywood. As I've said before, stop consuming new content, period. Doesn't matter if it's this and that. Stop consuming new content unless the creators have gotten down on their hands and knees, admitted that they were wrong, and truly do wipe it clean. But they don't do that. Maybe you could say Ghostbusters Afterlife is doing that, but that still remains to be seen between now and then. So don't get over your need for new content. Get over that. Go enjoy the wonderful classics we have. You have not seen everything out there. Go dig into the long boxes of the comics. Go dig into the old movies or television series or whatever, as well as support and create your own stuff, new stuff, whether it's independent or smaller house publishing or films or whatever. That's the thing. Now, the other problem with Suicide Squad 2 is that suddenly people just don't care. Suddenly people who were so concerned and so upset about James Gunn, where did that go? Did we just forget about that? Fans, this is another problem with fans. They have the shortest flea-like memory, and it's really pathetic and disgusting to see them. I'm seeing it right now with people. Did you see? Looks like Grogu will have a yellow lightsaber in The Mandalorian Season 3. Guys, what happened to your Gina Carano rage? I said this before. I'll have to dig it out from a clip from my old show. I said, you guys don't care about Gina Carano. You don't. I'm so mad. No, you don't. Your favorite YouTubers have got, that's the wave to ride right now. You'll be there paying your money for season 3 or pirating it, as you say, and then squealing about it on social media. You'll be there. You'll be there. They know you don't care about Gina Carano. You know you don't care about Gina Carano. You just want to be in with the cool people and be mad about the right thing to be mad about at the right time. That's the problem. So with the James Gunn thing, there are some people who said shouldn't have been any issue or whatever. So rather than have the discussion here or get into the debate as to whether James Gunn should have been fired when his, jokes about pedophilia and just completely disgusting and inappropriate behavior on social media and content of jokes, when that all came out, whether let's just leave aside the argument as to whether you think he should have lost his jobs, directing jobs that he had upcoming for that reason. All right, let's just leave that aside for a second. Hollywood is not consistent. They will fire Gina Carano. They will fire Gina Carano for daring to vote for the wrong people, for daring to not toe the line and say the right things for the big ideologue, liberal, extremist agenda. They will fire Roseanne Barr. And completely in every way try to cancel them. They are never to be supported by you again. How dare they not think the right things? But if you're somebody like James Gunn and you said some questionable things, but at least you're on the right side of the political spectrum and you've never aired and you've never said anything like you might be supporting a George Bush or a Trump or something, well, it's not that bad what you said. I mean, it was just a little pedophilia kind of thing. That's not that bad, right? We need to have, we need to go ahead and give him another chance. We need to go ahead and bring him back and sign him on to a major sequel like Suicide Squad 2 and bring him back and go ahead and get him to do Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Regardless of whether you think he should have lost his jobs for that, that is inconsistent and that is disgusting. They will treat they're wrong thinkers, they'll treat Gina Carano or Roseanne Barr or anybody like that. If you're not thinking the right extremist leftist ideologue thoughts and saying the right things, then you're canceled. You're dirt. Don't ever show your face on social media again. We don't want to see you on our screens. We'll do everything we can to ruin your career. But if you're James Gunn, as long as you didn't say anything politically wrong, we'll bring him back. Come on, we're overreacting, guys. No, that's disgusting. And everybody who's gone to see Suicide Squad 2 or who's pirated it to give it a chance or whatever, you're doing that too. You are doing that. You're saying, to heck with you, Gina Carano, but James Gunn gets another chance from you. James Gunn gets another chance. That's implicit. That's what you're doing. Don't you try? No, I'm not making any choices. I'm just checking out the content that's there available to me. Well, then you're implicit. You're letting them do things. You're letting Hollywood do whatever it wants to do. And I'm sick of hearing about your problems with it, because don't tell me what you don't like about it. Don't tell me how much you agree with your favorite YouTuber when they said this about it, when you're not willing to step up and either abstain from consuming this type or this thing, or from this company, from this person or whatever. You don't have the guts to actually do anything about it. So I'm sick of hearing you whine and moan about it. Don't even remotely tell me why you think Suicide Squad 2 is not that bad, actually. It was okay. Get out of here. How do you live with yourself? How do you live with yourself just being such an utterly brainless, mindless consumer of whatever drivel comes out of whatever crack of anything, just to see how that tastes? I mean, what is your existence on this earth? What are you doing? Bugs me. And I've seen people that I deeply respect. I mean, one individual I'm thinking of, I deeply respect. And I saw a post from him saying, yeah, I'm going to go see Suicide Squad 2 and see what it's like. Okay. Calm down, Prof. Calm down. Oh, gets me angry. Gets me very angry. Let's see. Dr. Yaisley says, hey, Prof, this is almost biblical. The same Jerusalem crowd that shouted Hosanna in the highest when Jesus entered Jerusalem shouted crucify him a few days later. Yeah, it's that mob mentality. And the disgusting or the insidious thing about the mob mentality of fandom is that it's really pathetic. they go and hear their favorite YouTubers deliver a critique of a film or of a series or something like that, which may have within that critique some good critical thinking points, some good points or whatever, but it just completely ignores the fact that you supported this thing, which you knew was most likely going to be garbage. And in doing so, you told them to create more of that garbage, also that you can make a video about it, talking about how it's garbage, so that people can tune in and hear you say perhaps some smart, some insightful things about why it's garbage. And then they feel like they are insightful now for agreeing with you, when all of you people are just part of the problem. No one wants to step back and wake the flip up. Okay. Got my blood pressure up again there, DRY. Welcome to Wolfden Media, Leia Plus Size. Some people joining us here. Wrestler Dude, Santa Claus. Santa Claus is in the household. Better be nice. Okay. Taking a deep breath. QWERTY, welcome to you. Haven't seen you in a while. Let's see what else is going on here. Leia Plus Size says it's true. They say that they are sick of the MCU, but want to see What If to see zombie Captain America. How sad. Oh, I know. What If is a really insidious thing for them to do, because you got people justifying this. Well, I'm not supporting the MCU. I mean, What If is a totally separate show. That's a totally separate show. That's like What If's out of continuity. You are supporting Disney Marvel. The same Disney Marvel that's making Marvel What If is making the Eternals, is making more movies in the MCU, which utterly dumped on Captain America, Bucky, even the Falcon himself, and all of these characters, and is going full-blown woke, no breaks whatsoever, don't care what you think about it, shut up and get on board and start thinking the right thoughts, you plebeian. You know, that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. It's Marvel is a whole other thing. I mean, I was talking about DC because of, Suicide Squad 2 being of DC, but James Gunn's going on to make Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and you've got everything that's been released about Love and Thunder, but there are idiots out there. I'll watch it. I'll check it out. Well, then you're part of that problem. Sound Engraver, my dear Sound Engraver, says the major YouTubers need to step away and their followers need to follow suit, but that'll never happen. Not unless fans get tired by themselves. I'm being purposely vague when I just say other YouTubers or their favorite YouTube channel or whatever, because it's not necessarily every other YouTuber that talks about this content. There are specifics in mind. Now, I'm not going to name names or be specific because that's not what my channel is for. I'm not here to call out and start beef with other YouTubers, but I am going to call out the phenomenon. And these channels are my channel's, it's big enough that I get something. I get something on the revenue, nothing to live on, but I get something. But these other channels are much, much bigger. And I can imagine how easy it is to start to be dependent on whatever you could make from your channel as part of your income. I mean, you got to get up to like PewDiePie standards to actually make a living on it. But I can see how it would be, tempting or easy to fall into kind of becoming dependent. Especially all the time you sink into a YouTube channel. It takes a lot of time to make these videos, edit them, and so forth. So once you have YouTubers at that point, well, they are dependent on Hollywood to keep producing. So they don't actually want Kathleen Kennedy to leave Star Wars. They don't actually want Disney to start doing good Star Wars movies, or Marvel to start doing good Marvel movies, or whatever. They don't actually want that. Because if they did that, then you might say, well, why? If they did that, then they could talk about how much better things are now. Isn't that good? No, it's not. Because the videos that talk about how good something is do not receive a fraction of the views or the income. Because that's not what people whipped up on YouTube want to see. They want to feel that they're smarter than people. They want to feel that they're righteously justified in their anger about this. And that's all part of the problem, is overall. So a lot of these other YouTubers, and again, I'm not saying that each and every YouTuber who does this, I don't know the inside thoughts of every single one, but it's enough of them where it's a phenomenon now. They have such a big platform, must have such a big income from it, that they are dependent on more product from Hollywood. They are dependent on more poor product from Hollywood. So even though they say they don't like it and they can say they critique it, they don't want it to stop because it gets money in their pocket. Divine Comedy Productions for $10. Sorry for another super chat. Dude, never apologize for sending me another super chat. You send as many as you like, sir. They help me. I'm not a big YouTuber. Sorry for another super chat, but I've seen better new stuff on Webtoon like Unbreakable, Iron Ranger, Barrel Shell, and Iconic Comics with Common America, Soulfinder, and Black Ops. Yeah, I don't know a lot of those names that you mentioned, but yeah, Iconic Comics, Tim Lim, and then Doug with the with the Soulfinder rather. Yeah, Doug Ernst. Those are great stuff. I need to catch up on my has Soulfinder been a volume 2 yet? I don't know. I've been so busy with other stuff. I haven't really followed a lot of that, but I need to. But yeah, that was good stuff. That was good stuff. I don't frequent Webtoons. I don't really know what that's but I'm guessing it's some sort of place where other creators can upload their stuff. And yeah, I'd believe it. I'd definitely believe it. Melissa Harris is saying, are you kidding me? They're Tim Drake. They're making Tim Drake bisexual. This is the first I've heard of that. I can't quite describe to you the burning rage that makes me feel right away. Tim Drake is such an amazing character, and he has been dumped on by DC over and over and over again. Now, by Dan DiDio in particular, and the legacy that Dan DiDio left behind. Because Tim Drake is that third Robin. He was he endeared himself to so many fans. He corrected the Batman that was going a little too dark without a Robin, but at the same time, you didn't necessarily need to bring a 12-year-old boy running around in bare legs again, because the times were just kind of past that. Tim Drake was the perfect answer. The perfect answer. His character was so aspirational, so iconic, and Dan DiDio hated that. He hated that because he hates legacy characters. Dick Grayson should be the only Robin. So he's just tried to shove him out of the way as many times as he could. When they did the whole Dick Grayson becoming Batman thing, just throw Damian in there, and yeah, Tim Drake can go be your Red Robin-ish something, blah blah blah. They've incredibly treated that character so poorly. There's nothing in his history at all that would even remote to him being even remotely homosexual or bisexual. And to just say he's a character that's expendable, we can just use him for tokenism, diversity points. Now, that infuriates me. I have to look into that a little bit more to see if that's what the extent of that is, or maybe there's a context you mean it in that I'm not understanding it or whatever. But that would be absolutely infuriating. Yeah, Fizzochio says Tim Drake is a homosexual now. That's garbage. That is absolute utter garbage. I can't tell you how angry that makes me. I mean, what? I don't know who's writing that. I don't know which editor made that call or which writer made that, but I hope their career burns in flames forever. That is the most irresponsible. That is the most arrogant, the most just ignorant thing to do with a character or a story ever. Not since Bobby Drake, not since Iceman. Oh, he's gay now, guys. Not since that garbage has a decision like this struck me as this ridiculous. Folks, if you are reading DC Comics still, get your head checked. I don't care what title you think is still kind of good. I don't care what character you just like so much, but they're doing something kind of interesting. Stop it. You're part of the problem too. It's inconceivable to me that anybody would spend 1 red cent for a DC or Marvel comic right now. Why? Unless it's something like the Superman 78 or the Batman 89, where it's not part of anything that they're doing, and it could actually send a message to say, yes, give us more of that, because all of that mainstream garbage you're doing is tanking and no one wants to read it. Back in the day, Dan DiDio, that wouldn't have done anything to him. That wouldn't have told him anything, because he had his head so far down into the ground like an ostrich that he couldn't parse that bit of information. Apparently somebody there is starting to look at it. So unless you're buying something like that, don't even try to justify to me you buying DC Comics right now. Yeah, but this one title is actually pretty good. No. you are supporting the continuity that says Tim Drake's gay. Just pulls that out of their butt and says that that's okay. Fans infuriate me. Fans, quote unquote fans, because you're not a fan. You're just somebody who needs to be contented with new content. For whatever reason, you just can't handle going back and reading the good stories that were there already. And here's another thing about this garbage LGBT representation nonsense. The fact is, if you go into an average room out there, an average shopping center, an average place of business, an average, yes, are there certain people who will be gay, bi, whatever? Sure. There's not one in every crowd. That's not how real world works. We don't have a diversity rainbow in every group we encounter, in every room that we enter. So why are they making stories be unnaturally representative? That's not the way life works. That's not the way our encounters in the real world works, nor do they need to be. No, they don't. I don't need to see a cash register at Walmart from every ethnicity or sexual orientation. That's stupid. I don't need to see it. But if I was walking into a Walmart in a comic book, oh yeah, this one's a purple-haired, used to be a guy, was a girl, identifies as a copier machine now, and this one's a blah, blah, blah. This is utterly absurd. You do not need to count your heroes and make sure you got enough of the LGBT representation and this sort of ethnicity representation. That's like me saying, guys, why aren't there more rural superheroes? I really feel that that DC and Marvel are discriminating against rural community because superheroes don't swing around or fly around in hillbilly towns. They are made for the big cities. That's where that story takes place in, You don't need to force this diverse garbage into it. The problem is if you're actively trying to shut out this ethnicity or this type of person or whatever, that would work in the story, that should work in the story. But, they've got all their BS arguments for, this and this needs to happen for the blah, blah, blah. And you buying the single issue of whatever you think is actually a good title are supporting it. You're supporting it. I say, well, yeah. Makes me angry. Wolfton Media says, preach, prof. Sartorian Clegane says, we clearly go to different Walmarts. Yeah, maybe you go to a horrible Walmart. I don't know. Sonograver says, unfortunately, the rainbow has affected the police state in the UK. So this is ideological push is going to get worse and worse. Yeah, the police state. Yeah, definitely. Oh my gosh. As bad as things are here, I couldn't fathom living in some of the other places out there. I used to walk outside of my home from LA and thought no way Spidey would swing well there. Yeah, exactly. You don't need that. Muhammad says it's annoying when people gaslight you into thinking it's always been the case. I mean, I don't get why people can't just make new characters that don't have to piggyback on others. That right there, that it's always been the case. This is one of their arguments too, which is straight up, flat out wrong. Okay. I've mentioned something like this before. Have there been individuals who have felt same-sex attraction throughout the history of humanity? Of course. Okay. Have there been identifying as another socially constructed gender individuals are trying to trans this way individuals are? No, none of that garbage existed because the modern narrative has created a lot of that garbage. It's created a lot of it. Again, I'm not talking about something as simple as like same-sex attraction or a man feeling like they're very womanly or a woman feeling. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about this whole packaged cultural blah that the LGBT woke representation community is trying to push on the world right now and try to pretend that we're just opening your eyes to what's always been the case. And no, it hasn't. Stop it. You're flat out lying through your teeth. And you're even lying to yourself, but you know it and you don't care it because it's part of that they identify as activists. They have to keep pushing and keep being victimized, or else they don't get to, whatever. I was going to read something by Alex Starr, but I see it's retracted, so I'll look for that again. Stephen Cruz, thank you very much, says, got scared. I read the title and thought you were doing how to apply makeup tutorial stream. Yeah, we already talked about the cheap jokes. Thank you very much. Says, Yep. First Tim Drake. Ah ha ha ha. Very funny, Steven. That was actually a cleaner comment than you're capable of, though. So I'll take it. Uptown Media says, in the years to come, our stories will be dubbed inaccurate because they will change history so much to the point that the new gen will be inducted so badly. Yeah, well, I mean, they do change history. They try to change history books, rewrite that. It's interesting to see what they're going to do now because the public school system is where they push this indoctrination. Critical race theory, that's in the public schools. They'll pretend it's not, but it's very much in there. From public schools to state universities, all of this is being pushed. You are either you or your children or whatever are being indoctrinated. Absolutely, that's their plan. I did notice some studies the other day though that came out, and you know me, I'm really bad with numbers. So it's something. If I don't have these numbers exactly right, the general reach is right. They said that before the and again, I'm trying to avoid watchwords for the stream. Before the thing happened where everybody had to stay home for a long time, before that happened, the percentage of American families that were homeschooling their kids was at like 2 or 3%, something like that. 3%, I think it was. Now at this point, currently, the last study they did, that number has risen up to like 11%. I think it was 11%. That's a huge rise. And that doesn't mean parents who, because of having to stay home are getting information from the teachers at the school and doing the teaching themselves. No, that's not what it means by homeschooling. By homeschooling, it means people who are actually putting their kids, signing that away to the county. No, we are doing homeschooling now, and they're, either teaching themselves or using whatever curriculum. That's what that means. That's huge. And the government will not stand for that. The ideologues will not stand for a rise in people opting their children out of the indoctrination that they want them to face with public schools. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen with that. Let's see. I think I was going to say something else or get on another topic, but I distracted myself. Hendrick says, I came to comment because of Pruff's rage. I share in your pain. Our boy lives now only in our memories. Yeah, Tim Drake was just, it was just amazing. He was actually, you think about the Robins in general. Dick Grayson was a trickster. He was very much a trickster. Flippant quips, very, very akin to like Peter Parker, in terms of that respect. Instead of a web swinging, flexible there, he was an acrobat, so there was that trickster archetype. I did the whole video and I talk about both of the characters. Jason Todd, when he came about at first, was pretty stand up, at first, but then he got changed. There was a couple things that were happening and he became the brat. So sort of like a dark shadow of a trickster, just more of like a brat. And then he became very angry, disobedient to Batman, getting far too brutal and stuff like that. He became a problem. So when they killed him off and then Batman himself got a little too dark and whoever figured it out was like, we need a Robin. Tim Drake was the perfect answer because it was like, what kind of Robin is he going to be? Is he going to go back to being sort of a Dick Grayson light, or is he going to be a Jason Todd light? And that's what Damian is. Damian's just a Jason Todd light. Damian's a horrible character. Unless you put him in the right context, like with Super Sons, when that was going on, Damian Wayne's a garbage character. I'm sorry. I know he's got some major supporters, but there's no redeeming value in him. No, it is because he's had a hard past, but he's trying to do right now, like Jason Todd. Tell me again how he's so original and such a great idea. It's no, Damian Wayne's awful. But they'll privilege that kind of character. But Tim Drake, who himself was so optimistic and so full of hope, he didn't project that through trickster antics. He projected that through being a really upstanding aspirational hero who demanded aspirational heroism from his own heroes. That's why he sought out Batman and tried to reunite him with Dick Grayson, because he knew Batman could be better than he was being. That's what Dick Grayson, that's what Tim Drake is all about. And even the stories of him on his solo adventures were wonderful. They were absolutely wonderful. Dark Stranger says Chuck Dixon created Tim Drake. Was Chuck Dixon the creator of Tim Drake? I don't remember if that was the case or not. But that was around the Chuck Dixon era, which was a great, wonderful golden age of those comic books. Absolutely. Yeah. Fabio Contreo says, I guess if it's up to us to resist the empire and make the next iconic comic series, thanks to your videos, I learned a positive effect of good story sticks. Well, thank you for listening and checking that out. Yeah, I appreciate that, because it does fall to other creators. Hollywood won't do it. Even though there are still people who work in Hollywood, are the main publishers or whatever, who could be quite capable of amazing iconic content, the system will not let them produce it. It will not let them produce it. It will seek to imbue it or infuse it with all kinds of nonsense agendas and whatnot. So what's going on here? Muhammad says, I'm fine with bisexual character, but retroactively making characters into something they're not, and then you are socially forced to like the change. Yeah, or you're homophobic, or you're an ist or a phobe or something like that. Let's see. Wolfton Media says, remember when Squirrel Girl was the voice of aspirational fans of old? Good times. Before she became like body positivity Ugfest character. Yeah, she was. I don't really remember. I didn't really know much about the character before then, but I know that she wasn't always depicted or presented in the way that she is, currently. So, yeah. Firewatcher says, you can take CRT out of schools. There's still thousands of teachers with no real life experience who've been manufactured and indoctrinated with education degrees who will push CRT on kids anyway. It's interesting that you bring up how teachers are educated. And that's a good point, because to teach in a public school system, your expertise on the subject you're teaching is not the focal point of your education. You are taught what they claim they're teaching you how to teach. Now, there's something to be said for needing to learn how to teach in addition to the subject that you're going to teach, obviously, right? Or anybody who'd read enough or studied enough about any topic, you would just make them a teacher. And sometimes you get that in college, which is awful. You do get college professors sometimes you clearly don't know how to teach. They might be brilliant in their subject, but they don't know how to teach, and that's a problem. But in the public school, you get the opposite issue, where you get a lot of teachers who have just been taught so much how to teach. Now, some of that how to teach is actually real, but then most of it, like you're rightly saying, is a lot of indoctrination. Let's teach them how to get the standardized tests. Let's teach them how to blah, blah, blah. Let's teach them how to force the children into this and that. It's indoctrination. And then they get just a little bit of a subject to be dangerous. I remember I had a brilliant history professor who I wasn't even going to be a history major, but he inspired me so much. I went up into his honors history class because they were just so great, American history. And he was talking every now and then. He would present something. I don't remember the exact point he would make or something, but he'd say, now, some of you have heard that this is why the colonies did this or that. And you probably heard that from your high school history teacher who read one book and decided that she knew she was going to teach you, and it's true. It's true. They're not taught. They're not properly prepared to be teachers. I'm not dissing on every public school teacher. I'm not saying each and every one of them is ill-equipped and unqualified. No, I'm just saying the system itself. Some of them can be qualified despite the system. Sure. I'm not disparaging each and every individual one of them, but the system itself is not designed to produce them. Let's see, for $5 here, I've got a super chat from Heavy Hard Drive. Says, have you heard Dick Grayson doesn't fear Batman, but fears Black Lightning? Am I missing something? I haven't heard that at all. Don't know. If that's something new, then I wouldn't know about it because I could care less. I made that video long before Dan DiDio was even fired. I made the video, said that DC Comics are no longer worth reviewing. And I haven't reviewed them unless it was a major event, something like the Detective Comics 1000th issue or whatever, something like that, or talk about other continuity things like the Superman 78 or something like that. Unless it's something like that, I have not reviewed anything new from DC because they're not worth reviewing. Marvel has long since failed to be worth reviewing. I don't understand channels that'll get the newest Marvel comic of this and talk about what they're doing. It's like, you're not giving us any news anymore. It's not news that Marvel is filled with ideologues and they're going to twist and deconstruct your favorite characters in every way they conceivably possibly know how to push an agenda. That's not news to anybody anymore. So it doesn't really do any good to still buy those newest issues and still do the reviews what does good is to stop purchasing them, to stop talking about them, stop making them even remotely culturally relevant. Um, we've got to find, because ideologues aren't, we've talked about before, they're not logical. They don't see numbers or falling profits as any reason to do things necessarily by itself. But you got to hit them with every barrel you've got just to somehow either shake it up or drive them so far into the ground that they stop producing it. I've said it many times and I'll say it again. I would love nothing more than for DC Comics to close, go under, to never reopen again, and to never ever receive a new DC Comics Superman or Batman or Wonder Woman comic again. I would love that rather than have them still open and put out the garbage that they're putting out. Let those characters go to public domain. We've gotten so bad. And people, people just they can't believe I say that. That's just so inconceivable. How could you? We need to work with them to try to fix it. You are the most delusional, adorable, naive little dumpling in the world if you think that's possible or it's going to happen in any way. No, it's not. I get it. I would love to return to the golden age when we got those stories, but it's never happening. Never happening. The cancer, as I've said before many times, is so ingrained. There's no just fixing it. There's no fixing it, folks. We need major revolution in the industry. Sound Engraver says, my music education degree to become a public school teacher was predominantly philosophy and social behavior. Yeah. You want to teach music? Be good at music and get students. Exactly. Yeah. And same thing with any subject, part of the how to teach. For when I was back working in my assistantship, or I was going to start my assistantship to start student teaching, English classes in college, we did have to take one teaching writing class. There was a very little bit of that class that was good. I needed that. It was necessary. The vast other parts of that class was just how to preach an agenda, how to, these are the theories about, feminism, and these are the theories about Marxism, and these are the theories. It was dribble. It was ridiculous. You didn't need any of that. So it makes me wonder: is there really? Can the art of teaching actually be taught? I don't think it can. I really don't. I think people are just born teachers, or they're not. And I'm saying this from thinking about all the college professors that I've had. Some of them are just awful in the classroom. They're horrible teachers. I've got a professor now who's a great person and is a wonderful, I'm getting my master's in theology. This guy is a really great theologian, and I like his stuff. I like his presentations, elsewhere. But as far as the teacher goes, he's horrible. He's a horrible teacher. He just doesn't have it in him. And, then you've got cases of professors who are just, they don't like teaching. They're part of their job that they want to do is the researching and the writing and the publishing and the arguing and all that kind of stuff. And, got to teach so many classes a semester. Get that stupid thing out of the way, It does make me think, I don't know this for sure. I'm not like arguing it. I'm just kind of mulling it around right now. But I tend to lean towards the fact that I don't think teaching can be taught. I think it just takes a certain kind of demeanor, a certain kind of personality, and some specific types of gifts that can be a good teacher. To be patient, firm when needed to be, but to be able to impart knowledge. And the successful act of teaching isn't all on the teacher. That's something that our culture thinks too now, especially like with public schools and stuff. No, the successful act of teaching, of a teacher successfully imparting this knowledge to a student, half of that's the student. You cannot teach somebody who doesn't care. That you can sort of randomly make them remember some things from your class just because they were there, kind of a osmosis sort of thing or whatever. But if they're actually going to take it to heart and use it or whatever, there are tricks and things you can do as a teacher to try to coax them into that, but they need to be interested in it or it's just not going to happen. It's not. That doesn't work. Let me see here. Got a couple of comments here. Private Eye says, I got myself the full Superman Rebirth in Spanish and been looking backwards ever since. Wish I could get Super Sons. Super Sons was amazing. Yeah, Peter Tomasi, the Super Sons stuff, it was just such a magical thing. And Didio, in his idiocy, in his legendary short-sighted, naive ignorance brought in Bendis and his equally legendary ignorance to just end all of that. That is one of the dumbest moves in comic book history, because that was a successful comic book too. I mean, people wanted that. They craved it. So much so that they had to greenlight further story arc, like miniseries that were set back in the timeline when that was going on. And they were good too, but it doesn't matter because you've already bowled down on pushing this nonsense where we're going to, Jonathan gets tortured and he comes back and he's the new Superman now, guys. Shut up and accept it. No, we won't. Divinital says, hey, didn't you say you were trying to leave your current teaching position because it's getting bad? How's that going? And found anything else? Best wishes and just checking in. Yeah, actually, that's in the process. It's hard because, I have to say my current position isn't getting bad. State universities in general are getting horrible. And it's only a matter of time before it trickles down to mine. And that could happen as soon as this semester. I mean, it's just they're right there on the cusp of it, you know. My own experience, I haven't really, other than some really stupid, training updates or whatever, I haven't been forced or confronted with anything, luckily, yet. But yeah, I'm trying to get out. I'm trying to get into to private schools, for the private high school sector. Ideally, a Catholic school or Christian school, but the private sector. I'm definitely not going to go teach the public school. Yeah, so that's coming along. I got some irons in the pot, as they say, or in the fire. Let's see. There it was. Somebody did a super chat. Lord Captain Commander Dunn for $4.99 says, "Love your stuff, sir. You could break down what is your criteria for judging stories. For me, it's a logical progression based on cause and effects." That's that's kind of a broad question. Criteria for judging stories. I mean, just in general, some things to look for. The whole story arc, the whole integrity of the plot has to be there. I don't think you can say, well, the plot kind of was weird and it was all over the place, but some of the characters were just so great. I really think it's a good story. No, then it's not a good story. It's a horrible story that somehow managed to create a cool character or a cool idea or a cool concept. So integrity of plot, character progression, good, believable character arcs, pacing and tension. These all need to be there. Lots of things. It's kind of a hard question to answer, but hopefully some of that answered it. Senator Gary says, "Preach, Professor Geek. Half the teaching is the student learning." Exactly. Muhammad says, "Do you think they'll ever change Bobby and Tim back in the future?" Nope. I don't think so. Not until people stop reading the comic books. You don't want to hear any more stories about that? Stop reading their comic books. Don't just move to another title, because you're still giving them the money. They don't care. D.R. Isley says, "Pros of DC characters in the public domain. Creators can write stories like the classics. Cons, creators can also make up completely twisted versions of the character." Well, see, this is an argument people say, right? I'm glad you brought this up. People say, but if the character's in the public domain, I mean, people can start writing all these horrible LGBT enforced agenda, stories on characters that aren't that or whatever. They can come up with a scenario. But guys, they're already writing those stories. They're already writing and selling those stories. The only difference is they're selling it from the mainstream publishers right now, and you're not allowed to write or support a creator who would write the real iconic versions of those stories. There's no, once the floodgates of public domain are open, oh no, then all of these horribly mishandled treatments of the character are going to come out. Guys, they're already there. They are already there. A character hits public domain, then suddenly the gates open for us to get marketed, copyrighted, real good stories of these characters to be sold and supported. Definitely. I am starting to run out of steam a little bit. It's been about an hour. I didn't even know if I was going to be able to go for a whole hour tonight. If I had the content but you guys got me angry. So I went ahead and did that. Hendrick says, "Can you please say DC is turning the frogs gay?" No, because I know people would take that soundbite, but it's a funny idea. Like that. Otan Media says they can't even create their own stories without them being diaries or lessons about propaganda of the day. It's true. Yeah, it's nope. MC Ofke's here. Wow, sorry to have Mr. Stream Professor. Yeah, well, it's there. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with the stream. I know I'm going to cut out pieces of it. I guess for right now, I'll leave it up as a on the channel for people to watch it who missed it or whatever. I guess I'll leave that up for right now. Uh, if I get around to it, I would like to be able to cut out a video from it to have as a in between last Thursday's Star Wars stream. You know, these coming up. Yeah, so yeah, I'll definitely have some standalones out there from it. Definitely. Well, to media said, "Oh, you're on your channel. You talked about sexualization versus idealization. Yeah, good. That's an important topic. Yeah, I did done videos on that as well. It's true." Divinital says, "I'm with you. Worked school district and left when it started getting bad. I'm with you, bro. Yeah, it's disgusting. And I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this, but when you talk to somebody who's just 100% a public school evangelist, they work in the school, they know somebody works in the school, and they are trying to spread the message. I remember there's this one woman that I brought up something that wasn't even about public schools versus private schools or something. It was about something in a specific school or whatever. And I posted it to my personal page, and she was a friend through some other thing or whatever. So she was on there and saw it, and she had to like chime in her bit. And then at the end of it, she's like, "Public schools are amazing." It's like, okay, maybe go shout that on your sandwich board, but it doesn't need to be on my Facebook feed, you know. And people, you know, that's the mark of an ideologue, though, right? They look for ways to try to preach their agenda. There's no approaching any topic or any other person or either just conversation from a logical standpoint. Yeah. To media says, "Will you do a part 2? You mean of the sexualization versus idealization thing?" I'll go back and look at what I've already said about it. If I feel like there's more to say, I can. My sense was that I covered everything I wanted to say about it, but if you think there's another aspect that you'd like my thoughts on or whatever, let me know. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and call it a night at that point, stream at this point, because I do need to get some work done and whatnot. But I definitely wanted to give a makeup stream for not streaming Friday. I just kind of like left you guys hanging if you were waiting for it. But I never really announced that wasn't going to happen. It's just life got too busy. But going to try to be a little more faithful with the content again here this week. And like I said, things will ease up a lot over the 2 weeks after that. So that'll be good. This week we will have another installment of the Rule of Two book study, the Darth Bane trilogy, book 2, happening on Thursday night. So come back for that. We're doing chapters 6 through 10. We just started the book. Al and I did this last week, so we'll start that. And the plan is to still do another live stream this Friday, even though I'm doing one, you know, kind of Tuesday in this week. Plan is to continue with that now and get some content out there. So, yep, time to do some work. Autobot Starscreams, the Soviet Americans who want to turn America into the USSA want to ban and destroy all homeschooling. It is. I mean, it used to be conspiracy theory to say there was a communist takeover. No, there is. It's just you're stupid if you don't believe that at this point. Al says, "Oh man, missed this." Probably better that you did. Love you, Al. You get the Al pass. So I'm going to go do some work. Lots of work to do, but thank you guys for hanging out. I will catch you Thursday night, hopefully, if you're back, or Friday night one, and have some more content between them. But until next time, keep enjoying and digging deeper into the real, true, iconic stories you love best.